Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Chalk Talk here on the DK Pittsburgh Sports Steelers YouTube channel. Chris Halicke here. We are going over Week 5, Jets versus Vikings. Aaron Rodgers, we're breaking down his performance, and I can tell you right now, this is the worst of them all so far. And it's not just Rodgers, it's everything involved. The offensive line was atrocious in this game. Timing with receivers wasn't good. There was no running game. They averaged 2.6 yards per carry on just 14 carries. Rodgers was 29 of 54 for 244 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. Not great. PFF grade. Remember, like if you do absolutely nothing, you get a 60. They gave him a 46.4, a passing grade of 48.3. Was credited with 3 big-time throws, 4 turnover-worthy plays. He had had none to this point of the season. Was not a good game for Rodgers, for the Jets, and somehow they only lost by 6. This should have been a blowout. This is not good. All right, so let's get into it. First play here, we get a play action. Rodgers back foot, ball comes out on time. And it misses with this thing. And again, this is this thing with Garrett Wilson. I don't know what it is. And for those of you who've been watching the other games that I've been doing so far, the first 4 games of the season, there is this disconnect with Garrett Wilson is fascinating to me. And this one to me is on Wilson. When you get to this point right here, it's get out of your break and go. It's just immediately get out of your break and just run as fast as you can. Not seek contact here. It just slows everything down. Plus, you might get flagged for offensive pass interference. But it slows down the timing. And so when you're watching this game on Sundays, you see that throw missed. You're like, oh, well, Rodgers just missed him. But this angle kind of goes to show that, again, you get to this, back foot hits, and then you get the step up and the throw immediately like that. First off, that means that he's throwing to his first read. Whether that is the designed first read or whether that is this is the play we're running against this particular defense, and at the line, I'm predetermining that I'm going to Garrett Wilson. He probably should have just thrown this. So you could just wonder, why in the heck are you on 2nd and 9, which is what this play was, why are you not hitting the very, very easy check down to move the chains and throwing this ball to Garrett Wilson? But again, if this is either the first read or this is just what you've predetermined where you're throwing, it's still a good throw. Because look at where the ball is whenever Garrett Wilson, like he's throwing where Garrett Wilson should be. And because, again, it's back foot, and Garrett Wilson is already, from Rodgers' perspective, starting to come out of his break. Starting to go into and then get out of his break when the back foot is hitting. So Rodgers then steps up, and he is seeing, like, this is going to be there. So I'm throwing it. But instead of just getting this foot there and then going in this direction as quickly as you can, it's let me hand fight for a second and then go. It's not a bad throw, guys. It's just not. That's on the receiver. It just is. This one here, let's see. Motion to a 2x2. Get the snap. Rodgers back foot. This is another one. I'm chalking this one up. I remember this one. I'm chalking this one up as that continued disconnect. Wilson's running a corner route, and he kind of runs it like this kind of an angle. Like, it's kind of like this bendy thing where when I'm thinking corner route at this portion of the field, not portion, but portion of the field, you're going down, and then you're kind of running this away because you're definitely wanting to make sure you're clear of this guy. But then also, like, this safety, you're trying to not only keep him from going this direction, but also if you run this more vertical toward the sideline like this instead of like this, safety's not going to get there in time. And so Rodgers definitely throws that where it's going to be more than clear of this guy, But Wilson's corner route kind of gets a little bendy for my taste. I'm still not going to pin this solely on Wilson or pin this solely on Rodgers. To me, this is just more of that they're just not on the same page. And yeah, Garrett Wilson had 13 catches for 101 yards and a touchdown in this game. He was also targeted 23 times. That's 10 times that Rodgers didn't throw him the ball. It did not get caught. There are usually a number of reasons that go into that. And the underlying factor of most of those reasons is usually just disconnect between the quarterback and the receiver. Again, back foot hits, step up, throw. This is where he's intending to go. It's just, again, Rodgers is throwing to a place where he expects the receiver to be. The receiver's not there. Disconnect. I don't know what it is. Don't know. Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Garrett Wilson is an immensely talented receiver. It just did not mesh. Don't know why. Next play here. Rodgers, play action fake. Well, running back kind of abandons that, but he picks up a blitzer there, so it's actually probably a pretty good job. Good, clean pocket. One of the rare times he has one in this game. Kind of a little bit of a double clutch there. He's definitely going to Allen Lazard. It's not really open, but Rodgers throws it, to, the outside. I mean, that should be caught, and it's not. How many drops in this game from Jets receivers? According to PFF, four dropped passes. So that was among the highest of the season. Jets receivers dropped 5 passes in Week 13 against the Seahawks. Outside of that, this was the second most in a game. So again, this is not just Rodgers. Rodgers was not great, and we'll get into the interceptions here in just a little bit. But great job here by Allen to abandon, to see this and to see this possible blitz over here and just say, no, I'm not doing that, and then go over here and say, I'm not going to let him blow my quarterback up. Because it was early and often, and I only have 13 plays out of 57 dropbacks, but the pressure that Rodgers was under throughout the game was insane. So when you see this pocket here, you're like, take it when you can get it. And when you get it, my gosh, you have to connect. And yeah, this ball has to be caught. It just does. That's on Lazard. I mean, hits you square in the numbers, man. That ball has to be caught. Next play. Oh, here we go. First pick of the game, and it's a pick 6. It's funny. Rodgers told this guy later in the game, apparently, Christmas came early. For those of you who remember the cover 0 play in last week, I think it was against the I don't remember if it was Patriots or Broncos. It was Broncos. They had this same thing, this trips formation over here. We're in a 1 by 3, and this is a different play, because that one that I showed when they were facing cover 0, you had this slant there. The number 2 there had this slant, but the number 1 last week was this is a flat. And so this is all man coverage right here, right? So that means this guy's going to be covering the slant. This guy would be covering the flat. So it would then vacate this entire space right here, right? Just like it did last week. Now this time it's a different concept. It's middle and it attacks middle field open. You get this guy who's pretty much running this. Then you get this slant, right? And then you get this quick little in right there. And if all these guys blitz, it's perfect. And I don't know if this was a play like an improv by the defender or if this was a Brian Flores mastermind thing. But this guy right here fakes the blitz and drops back and vacates this window where Rodgers wants to throw that slant and it gets picked. And so I want to, get to the end zone view so you can see. So same exact protection as the one we saw last week. All right, so you get this protection right here. Your sliding protection to this side. You get those three going to this side. You get the running back taking this linebacker here. You get this. That is the protection, knowing, okay, this guy right here is the free runner. So you can do one of two things. The way the Jets did it last week is Rodgers can kind of pivot to this side real quick and then make this throw because he anticipates either the slant to be open or with this particular play, he could throw it to the number 3, who's pretty much just running straight here, right? He could do a number of things with that. The other way you can do this is you could throw this hot. Now, you have only one receiver over here while you have 3 over here. So you have more options to attack over here as opposed to hoping this one guy over here is open. And let's see let's actually go back and see what route. I mean, it's a deep curl. That's not really a hot route. So you can't, with this particular protection, you can't throw hot against where the free runner is going to be unless you just have this running back go here and you pretty much have your protection like this, where you slide protection to the left and you make this guy right here the free runner. Then you can possibly, and which is probably what they should have done, that way you can throw against the hot and you can possibly get that open. They didn't do that. They kept the same protection with a similar concept, not this same exact concept. They have this same protection right here. This guy's hot, and instead of throwing over the hot, that's not what they did. They wanted to throw in this direction. I don't get it. I don't know if that's Rodgers. I don't know if that's the design. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know which one's which. Either way, it doesn't work. So if it's Rodgers, hopefully he learns from that. If it's Nathaniel Hackett and the offensive playbook, then that's just bad offense. You should be throwing over where you're hot. And Flores, if he really just knew, like obviously he knew because it was on film, he's like, hey, listen, this guy's not going to blitz. You're going to vacate this spot. And it's perfect. It's either a brilliant play by this guy, but he does it again later in the game, so I'm almost thinking this is predetermined, like part of the Vikings defensive game plan. That's what I'm thinking. So I almost want to credit Brian Flores for this, which is great. It's a great play. All right, next play here. This is Rodgers' second pick of the game. It's not great. Back foot hits. He's trying to throw this to Lazard to attack the middle of the field, and there's not much to break down here. He sails the throw. I mean, you're going for the touch pass to get right there. He sails the throw. It's an easy pick for the safety. Again, there's no breaking this down. It's just very simple. Back foot, step up, throw. It's got to be layered. It's got to be a nice layered throw. He's done it a million times in his career. He just misses it. He sails it. Just a miss. Happens. It's all on him. I mean, it's all on Rodgers. This throw is there. I mean, if you layer the throw right, it's there. There's enough of a gap to put that over the defender and put it there. He just doesn't do it. So, is what it is, man. Because next play that I have here, you have Conklin. He's pretty much running the same thing. You get middle field open here. You can attack this window. And honestly, good on the Jets for continuing to attack middle field open and not be afraid to throw something similar just because you threw a pick trying to attack that area of the field, because this time Rodgers doesn't miss. Back foot, hitch, throw, on the money. That's what it's supposed to look like. I mean, it's almost the same exact separation that Lazard had. Maybe it's a tad bit more open, but it's still a throw that you've got to layer over the top. And Rodgers does it perfectly here. It's a great throw. That's what it's supposed to look like. Back foot, decent protection. Not great. This guy's kind of getting shoved back a little bit, but yeah, and can't really step into it. He has to kind of almost kind of shift this way a little bit. But it's a great throw. Again, it's what it's supposed to look like. Next play, Rodgers, back foot. He gets hit immediately, and this is what I'm talking about. This is the same thing that the Vikings did before. So you got cover 0 here. So you're showing that you're going to blitz everybody, and this is just man coverage, right? This time the Jets are in a 2-by-2, right? So now you can have a hot really quick, especially because look at what the concepts are. You pretty much have this guy who's running this, and your free runner is coming from this side. That should be your target. But again, it's the same thing. Rodgers is looking this way. What are you trying to hit? You get this curl. That's not going to work. Then you get this kind of skinny post thing. That's not something you can possibly throw hot. The only thing you could throw hot is this. And it just so happens to come, and Rodgers takes a shot, it just so happens to come from where the free runner is coming from. Literally, he just comes and he just vacates that. This defender isn't going to step up and try to take it away because he's got to make sure that this guy doesn't run past him. Because if so, and Rodgers were to somehow escape, he could throw that down and it's a touchdown. But this is your protection that they have. So you're going to have a free runner. It's 6-on-7. This is where the free runner is coming from. So you already know where it's coming from because you know the protection. The protection's assigned. Throw this. Is that Rodgers? Is it the offense? I tend to put that more on the quarterback because he's the one at the line making sure that, based off of what the defense shows, okay, we know what defense is coming. We got a blitz coming. And they do the same thing. They fall into the same trap because 43 here does the same thing. He fakes the blitz and then drops back to vacate that window. Now, anything that's possibly hot on this side of the field is completely unusable because this guy's running free and you've got about a second to get rid of this ball. Otherwise, you are going to take a shot. You're probably going to take a shot either way, but you might as well get rid of the ball and possibly get a completion. That's why this needs to be the throw, not anything over here. And again, if that's just design, I don't know. I tend to put that more on the quarterback, but I'm also not going to sit here and pretend to know what was going on between Nathaniel Hackett, Aaron Rodgers, the offense. I'm not going to pretend to know. I wasn't there covering the team. I don't know. Either way, it results in Rodgers taking a gigantic shot in the back. And honestly, a sack is better than throwing another pick six, which that most likely would have been. The one thing that I want to point out, because it's going to show up later, is Rodgers, and we kind of saw it last week, or in the week before, I can't remember when, but Rodgers has shown, at least in this season, that when he is getting hit early and often, and he's having to be on the run early and often, it rattles him. You can see that it's just he's uncomfortable. And he ends up making poor decisions because of it. Now, that's not what he does here. This is actually kind of vintage Rodgers. Back foot, his primary read isn't open. Protection's breaking down, so he kind of scrambles out, kind of does this thing. This is just vintage Rodgers. Step up, make a play, make a throw off platform, hit him right on the money, touchdown. And this is also what comes with having Aaron Rodgers. Even at 40 years old, 41 years old, he can still do this. Back foot. It's not open. Protection's not great. I mean, you're rushing. The Vikings are rushing 3. 1, 2, 3. Why in the heck is Rodgers having to... What's going on here? What is the center doing? Because 52 is just driving the guard back. Why is he not helping? And then the tight end and the safety can't deal with this guy. Oh, gosh. It's a 3-man rush, man. Great throw by Rodgers. He almost doesn't get it off. Oof, Lazard takes a shot, too. Holds on to that ball. Heck of a play by both Rodgers and Lazard. I think this next play is kind of closer to what I was talking about. Back foot hits. Rodgers is wanting to hit this again. You got this guy. He's running this kind of skinny post to the middle, attacking that middle, and he kind of feels the pressure. You know, these edges are getting back there, and so he's like, screw this. I'm just going to check it down. Whatever. This ends up getting open. And what I'd like to see is Rodgers shuffle up in this direction and then try to hit this instead of feel pressure, oh, crap, and then just check it down. But again, if you're constantly under pressure, if you're constantly getting hit, I kind of understand it. It's still on the quarterback to execute the plays and play within structure and not just check down, check down, check down. These guys are also human. And for Aaron Rodgers, he is a 40-year-old man coming off of a hamstring injury from the week before, coming off of an Achilles injury from the year before, and he's getting hit early and often. Again, I'm not making excuses. The quarterback still has to execute the plays, but these guys are also human. So, yeah. This is a 4-man rush, guys. 4-man rush. He got 6 in protection. What is happening here? Ay vey. Everything's bad. Everything's bad. It's 6-on-4 and you lose. That's never good. All right, next play here. Don't have that much more to go. Rodgers, back foot. Why is this so close to each other? Oh, that should never happen. I don't care what the concept is. That should never happen. Oh, that's ugly. I forgot about that. I actually put this in here because just Rodgers just gets... This is when he injures his ankle, by the way. I don't care what offense you play in. 2 receivers should never be that close to each other in a concept. Never. Ever. That actually kind of makes me mad. Wait, is this a play Rodgers gets injured? Because he actually gets rid of the ball. Where's he looking? It looks like he's looking downfield toward where that scrum of receivers was. It's obviously not there, so he just checks this down to the running back. Yeah, this is where he gets injured. Yeah, he injures his ankle. And apparently, like, he like was supposed to go into the medical tent, and he said no, and he just went back out on the field anyway. Yeah, that's. I'm sorry, I can't really put that on Rodgers. Again, anytime defenses ran stunts, this group could not pick it up. This guy, like, he just runs free. And then when, like, there's no passing guys off and then picking up the other guy once you pass somebody off, like, and it gets your quarterback hit. I mean, it is literally 4-on-3 over here. And because they run a stunt, not only do you not get this guy, then you stop blocking this guy. Oh, gosh, it's so bad. Yikes. All right. Next play. Oh, I remember why I put this one in here. Shanahan concept. Woohoo! Shanahan play action concept. I'm trying to see. Is this more like burner? Yeah, this looks like more like burner because you kind of get this outside stem, and then it's almost kind of like this very, very skinny post, and you get the high crosser here. This is usually your 1. This is usually your 2, and then there's some sort of outlet down here as your 3. However, this right here rarely ever gets thrown to. Usually this crosser ends up being the primary target. It just depends on the defense. Now, the Vikings are in cover 4 here, right? You're in cover 4. So the corners match up with the number 1s. And if there is no number 2 that goes out for a pass or anything like that, these safeties can come up and help defend the run. And if there was a handoff here, that's exactly what they would do. However, they can just stay back and play quarters pretty much at that point. It all depends on how it's taught. Now, nobody else goes out for passes. And there is no outlet. If this is just flat out change of protection at the line to max protection, number 1, you failed. Number 2, you need an outlet. Because you get here, this is taken away by not only this man guy, but this safety is rolling over to take that away. This safety right here is, instead of continuing to get depth, stepping up and taking this away, this high crosser away, not allowing that to be thrown. It's well covered by the Vikings, and there's nothing else. What's Rodgers supposed to do? Oh, gosh, man. It's so bad. Again, if that's designed that way, like, you cannot run any kind of even play action concept and have literally 2 options with no check down, especially if you're going to be having pressure. You have to have some sort of outlet. I can tell you right now, the way it's actually called in the Shanahan playbook, there is always an outlet for every single one of those high cross play action plays. Every single one of them. Next play here, Rodgers out of the pistol, play action fake. I mean, gosh, guys, holy shnikes. Look at that. Oh, Lord. It's so bad. It almost doesn't matter what the Jets are running. They're obviously running, back foot. Is he throwing? He doesn't even have time to really see what's going on, and he's already getting blasted. Are the Vikings even blitzing here? 5-man rush against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is what you would call max protection. Oh, wait, never mind. The running back's going out. You still have 6 on 5. And this guy just takes a massive, massive, massive L. Barely gets a hand on him. If I'm Breece Hall, by the way, at that point, and I see that guy running, I completely peel off and I just chip him. Got to do something to protect my quarterback. Like I know I just said like you have a check down, like you have to have a check down, but you would rather give the play a chance and protect your quarterback from taking this kind of a hit. Especially when you know he's already injured his ankle. He injured his hamstring the week before. Like, gosh. He takes a shot too, man. Ugh. This game was hard to watch, man. You guys didn't even see any of the run blocking, by the way, in this game. I don't have any running plays in this game. So bad. So bad. After all that, last play. After this entire cluster, word I can't say on YouTube without getting demonetized, the Jets are only down by 6. They have a chance to win the game. And Rodgers has been leading them down the field. And they're now within kind of striking distance, inside the 30. And you get play. You got a one-on-one matchup with a safety over the top, but you got it, and it's just, it's not a good throw. Oh, gosh. Again, this was not Rodgers' best game. This was actually a pretty bad game from Rodgers. This was bad by the offensive line. This was bad. More results of just a bad offense and getting completely outclassed by a much better defensive coordinator. I don't have a lot of respect for Nathaniel Hackett and his offense. I just don't. Especially now from seeing 5 games of it. Not a fan. This is a bad game. All around. It's just terrible. So I'm sorry you had to sit here and go through this, but at least you only saw 13 plays of it. I had to watch all 57. Twice, actually. It was bad. Anyway, hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll be back on Monday with Week 6. We're continuing on, or Game 6 at least. That was against the Buffalo Bills back in New Jersey. And then Tuesday is the matchup against the Steelers in Pittsburgh. That was after they acquired Davante Adams. So we're almost getting to the Davante Adams portion of the season. But in the meantime, enjoy the weekend. Catch you on the flippity flip. We'll see you later.